Last 2 years have been the biggest paradigm shift in my life. COVID, of course, as everyone else here has experienced. But I got married, had a kid, and not shown in this picture is I bought a piece of air that they are promising to actually be a house one day. You might have seen an article about it, that everyone wants to move there, apparently. And after 10 years of working in the internal environments of both Rabobank and Exact software, I went into consulting. So I'm Nick, a senior consultant with HelloCloud. And to give a bit of context, what that means is that I'm supposed to, and usually am, or always have been able to, handle anything AWS related that gets thrown my way. I've done migrations, I've done analysis, audits, you name it, I've done it. And I've been doing consultancy now for about 1.5 years. And I really think that I'm pretty good at it. But my self-deprecating humor and my imposter syndrome will not allow me to give myself a compliment like that, so I'll be sharing my biggest failure during this consultancy gig as well. Fun, fun. So first, Rabobank. First 6 years of my career. Started low in the totem pole, desktop support, moved up into what they are calling global desktop engineering with Rabobank International, where I was responsible for building the new workstation build that gets deployed to 17,000 workstations across the world. Everything from drivers, software settings, everything is up to me, or gets implemented to me, by me. And then I moved to Exact, where we moved from Colo into AWS, and I helped architect that environment and built the Terraform for it. And after we've moved there, we did all the transformation, and I kind of became an architect of that. Both were positions where I could basically make the domain my own. I was master of my craft, either because of all the years of use, or because I built it, documented it, and I had everything in my head. So I was always the man with the answers. But then I moved into consultancy. I joined there because I wanted to see more of the world, so to speak. A company usually only makes the journey into the cloud once. And I kind of was hooked on it. I loved architecting new environments, seeing what's possible, and by joining consultancy, I was able to quickly get a lot of different customers in different sectors with different use cases and find a solution for their problems, their asks. So to do a butchered sum up of consultancy, a quick consultancy is one, you have resource staff augmentation, which is basically putting butts in seats, putting knowledge within the team, embedding them within the team of a company, and that can be from several weeks to often several years. The other one is project-based consultancy, and that's short-term, and that's what I do. The customer has an ask, whatever that may be, a statement of work gets created, and during that statement of work, what is being built, and especially what's not being built, is put in there, and we start, basically. If you want to know more about those types of contracts, I highly encourage you to watch the video Fuck You, Pay Me by Mike Monterio. It's almost 10 years old, this video, but I love this thing. So these projects I run are usually a few weeks, and big migrations, you're only taking several months. So I need to know, I know nothing when I come into that company. And I need to take raw data, what's in the customer's head, and turn them into pretty pictures that will convince the customer that what I designed for them is the way to go. So they say, assumptions are the mother of all fuck-ups. And I love that saying, and that's why I put it on a nice little tile. But assumptions are they are basically my driving force, because what they don't say afterwards is as soon as you verify your assumption, it's no longer assumption. So making a lot of assumptions during the initial project and then asking the customer, is this correct, yes or no? You get your answer, and you get your facts. So the example I'm about to give will show that if you don't do that, then assumptions are definitely the mother of all fuck-ups. So this story I call client-server. It happens during a customer that we are doing a migration with. They have multiple applications, they want to move to AWS, and during the project, about halfway through the project, we talk about an application. It's not high priority, but the project team itself doesn't know a lot about the application. We don't either, and we're not allowed to because of regulations. We're not allowed to log into their systems, so the customer brings in the vendor. And the vendor explains what it does, and I start asking questions. When I came in, I only know what the software's called, that it runs on a Windows box, and that they use it to do analysis with. So a quick side is, a question that I asked was, does the software support client-server? Because we want to move into new fun things, and they're currently logging into a server to do it right on that server. And they say, yes, we support client-server. So what is client-server? Quick aside. Wikipedia says, well, it says there, a distributed application that is separated to a server that houses resource and being called from requesters, which are clients. Little tangent, because I found this fun. The URL actually in this slide gets garbaged because the UTF is not actually the dash. It is a different icon, and I found that interesting. So I asked the question to them, do you support client-server? Yes. Great. Does your client support, does your application support Linux? Yes. Great. So I make an adjustment in the design so that we turn that Windows box into a Linux box, save a little bit of money for the license cost, and off we go. Design is finalized, Terraform code is created to install the application and the server, and it's getting brought up, which comes to the next token. It doesn't work. Of course it doesn't. So we go back to the client, and we say, your client, you said that you support client-server, but when our users go into the application, they see no such functionality. Long story short, they don't support that. Their definition of client-server says you are able to use your client to log into a server and work on that server. So another video I recommend you people watch is, what is a photocopier from verbatim? It is about a legal proceeding, deposition, and exactly what happened here. I have a definition of a term. They have a definition of a term. Wikipedia says that I'm right, so I'm always, of course, right. But what happened here is that there is a cross wire, and we had to redesign that part of the application, which took a couple of weeks. The second story is what I find the hardest about being a consultant. So I came into a company to do an audit of their deployment infrastructure. And what I didn't know at that point is that we have a company that's relatively new to AWS. They have very enthusiastic developers, and they built this. They are incredibly proud of it. But IT leadership says, no, let's have a third party look at it just to be safe that it's actually going as we hope it's going. Well, that doesn't work because they feel attacked. So I come into that project not knowing this, and I get an incredibly cold shoulder. And as I do the audit, and as the audit is taking place, they are getting warmed up a bit because I tell them all kinds of neat features that they can start using, and they're getting happy and very enthusiastic again. But that never got to a good relationship, because after 3 weeks, it's already gone. But everything else went perfectly. I'm not going to go name all of this, because I am way over time, and I promise not to be. So I'm just going over here. is that I love being a consultant because it's IT, but it's completely different than being internally in a company. I love not having to fight internally anymore to get a project going and having to create that support page over several months. But I hate being on the outside now and having to support and meet that, and not being able to do anything about that politics. And I love being able to bite down challenges, bite on all these different things that I am allowed to build. But I hate having to then never own it. I give it over and then I move on to the next project. With the same for people. I like meeting all these new people, but after 3 weeks you say bye again and then you meet a whole bunch of new people. I do feel, and ending with this is, consultancy and internal IT, I feel variety is the spice of life. I did this for 10 years, and then now for a year and a half I'm consultancy. I couldn't be happier. But I know another person that's done 10 years of consultancy and has now gone internal. So there's no right answer in that. It's just what are you looking for, and maybe do you want to switch it up? Because I'm having a blast, but when I was internally, I had a blast as well. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nick.